Yo, what's good? It's your boy, Young JDR on Young JDR Sports. You know what I'm saying? We got the new sports channel out here. I expect a lot of fantasy content, fantasy football in particular, NBA content, NFL stuff, all types of sports stuff, though. Bunch of fun. So if you guys came here for my normal main account, Young JDR, don't worry. We're going to still be live streaming every single day, basically. Still the grind. This is just a side thing for me to have some fun and the knowledge you gorillas. So everyone, make sure you guys do drop a like on this video and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to hit 100 next couple weeks or so. Let's keep on growing on this channel. Let's keep on growing on Young JDR. But this video is about the best value running backs you can get in the draft. All right, I'm not saying that you can draft every single one and have these guys on your team, but certainly you could at least have 3 to 4. There's gonna be 5 running backs on this list, and I'll be explaining why, the stats, the reasons, and all types of dope stuff like that. So I really went into the stats and stuff like that. So definitely, it's gonna be a dope video. So let's get into it. So with the first running back, we got Chris Carson. Chris Carson, Seattle's running back. Right now, he is the number one. Seattle's backup running backs are like Rashad Penny, DJ Dallas, Travis Homer. Yeah, definitely Chris Carson's clarified he's the number one running back on Seattle. He's played 12 games in 2020. He's had 2,000-yard seasons, so it's pretty good. And he's played 2017 through 2020, so 4 seasons, and he's had 2,000-yard rushing seasons. That's pretty good for how unexpected Chris Carson was. He's also had 37 receptions in 2019 and 2020, so he's definitely not your Christian McCaffrey type running back, but he's certainly not your Nick Chubb, just Derrick Henry running back. So yeah, he does get in the pass game a decent amount. He's 26 years old. He's a young running back. You know what I mean? The ESPN. I'm according this to ESPN's ranking. They're projecting them with the 16th. So I forget what it's called. The average though is 16th ranking though. I don't know. 16 I feel like is way too low. He's falling in every single mock draft I've seen and did on ESPN and on other apps that I've watched people like mock draft from. Yeah, Chris Carson's definitely falling. If you guys see him deep down in there, definitely consider pick him up because I think he's a steal. Like the number one, you can get a number one running. Like he is gonna have so much value for that team. Like he's getting bulk carries. He's gonna be getting a bunch of snaps. The only problem is his injuries. Yeah, like I said, 12 games last season he got hurt. Season before, I think even believe so, he got hurt. Yeah, so injuries have been kind of a problem with him, but honestly, not too much compared to other running backs though. Yeah, he played 15 in 2019, which is still pretty good. He had a good season. And rushing, he's going to be getting those red zone rushing touchdowns. Russell Wilson's not going to run like Lamar Jackson to the end zone. You know what I mean? Chris Carson's going to be getting those rushing touchdowns as long as they don't throw, you know what I mean, throw a pick. But yeah, Seattle fans know the mistake they made on that Super Bowl. All right, let's go into our next running back. Now, this might be one of my favorite running backs on this list, or not really favorite as a player, but just how great a value you can draft him. James Robinson. All right, let's pull it up. 1,070 rushing yards last season was 7 touchdowns. Gardner Minshew was playing as QB too. Gardner Minshew got hurt, and they had a backup. It was just madness. Now they drafted Trevor Lawrence at number 1. The only problem that kind of affects this is they drafted Travis Etienne in the first round. And Coach Myers, the new Jaguars head coach, even have said, though, that they plan on using Travis Etienne as a third down running back and they're more of a receiver. So I guess that kind of boosts Travis Etienne's stock as a receiving running back because you know how receiving running backs in fantasy work, but also kind of hurts. I don't know. I think James Robinson will go in the 2021 season as the solid number 1 running back. I just believe so. With that, what we've heard, it doesn't seem like Travis Etienne's going to be the number 1 like Najee Harris is going to be for the Steelers. So very interesting though. He played 14 games last season as an undrafted rookie. He had 1,000 rushing yards. That's amazing. His receptions, he's actually sort of a receiving running back too, but that kind of hurts though that drafted Travis Etienne. He had 49 receptions last year. That's decent. Yeah, he's sharing time with Etienne. You know what I mean? I don't know. Don't know how that's going to work with Etienne. But yeah, I definitely think honestly that James Robinson should be going before Travis Etienne in these drafts. I've seen that Etienne's being picked way before James Robinson. That makes no sense. No possible sense. Right now, it's like, you got to be honest. You got to look at the info. Coach Myers said that like Travis Etienne isn't like pretty much a solid running back. And then when the season comes along and Travis Etienne isn't doing good, you can't say, you know, I mean, he literally said it. He said that Travis Etienne is not the main running back. So I think James Robinson has huge upside this season. Not as good as last season, of course, but still, for the value you're drafting him at, he's ranked 29. 29. That's crazy. Hold up. So in ESPN's 2021 projections, he is ranked 29, and Travis Etienne is all the way up. Not really all the way up at 25, but still kind of even. But still, though, James Robinson's at 29. Like, dude, he's gonna be falling all the way down in your drafts unless you have someone who knows that Travis Etienne isn't gonna be the main running back. But I would definitely think James Robinson, you guys need to watch him and pick him up late. He's talented for an undrafted rookie. You saw what he did last year. He was insane. But I definitely think probably the best running back or one of the best on this list. But let's go into the next one. This one I kind of have some worries about. Definitely not my most confident decision. But honestly, you can't go wrong with this in the late rounds. Damien Harris, Patriots running back. Rex Burkhead is gone. He's now on the Houston Texans, so that does help Damien Harris a little bit getting more carries. But also, it kind of hurts because he's on the Patriots. They drafted Mac Jones this year, so we're not going to quite know how that's going to work out. I definitely think Cam Newton will be the starting QB starting the season. Yeah, definitely, though, Cam Newton's going to be the starting QB probably in the beginning of the season. They paid him a lot more money than what they did last season, though. Cam Newton, I don't know. Last season, he had some big games passing. I think Rex Burkhead last season was like the second or third running back on the depth chart for them, and he had a 30-point fantasy game. So I don't think there's a number one running back on the Patriots. It's like, you know what I mean? Yeah, the next running back that's on the Patriots is Sony Michel, and I just can't see Sony Michel get another chance. I don't even know how long has he been on the Patriots for, and he has done like nothing. I just don't see how you can start him again after just he hasn't been a great running back at all. So I don't know. Damien Harris though, like he's 24 years old. Like last season he had a ball. Yeah, he played amazing last season. He had what's called, let's see his stats. He was averaging like 5 yards a carry. He's a good runner. That's the thing. He's just a good running back in general. Like he knows how to run the ball. The Patriots running back is kind of tough though in their situation. I do think the Patriots need to decide one running back and stick with it. And Damien Harris is that decision though. Also though, red zone carries and red zone receptions. That's another worry. Cam Newton loves to run the ball in the red zone, so you might not see Damien Harris get a lot of those. But also, I don't know. Last season, he only had 2 rushing touchdowns. So, kind of a worry right there. Yeah, 2 rushing touchdowns, definitely. And receptions, he gets like no receptions. He's played 10 games, 137 rushes, but he only had 5 receptions, 7 targets. 7 targets. That's not what you want to see. But for how late you can pick him up and how great of a runner he is, like his yards per game are 69.1 yards. That's good. Like that's pretty solid for a running back. But I definitely think the Patriots are more of a running team. They didn't really stack up on a receiver in the offseason. They did get Nelson Aguilar, Hunter Henry, and Jonnu Smith, but I think they're going to be running the ball more. And if Mac Jones does start, you know how those rookie QBs like to play. They like to pass to the running backs, play it safe. And Damien Harris, if he's the number one running back, definitely a steal. Highly pick him up, guys, if you can, late in the draft, even later than James Robinson. All right, the next 2 running backs are going to be kind of hard to get, but they are definitely deserved to get picked higher than what they should be right now. What they say, ESPN's ranking this running back at 10th. 10th is, I mean, you could say it's a little high or a little low, but it is Cam Akers, the LA Rams running back, drafted last year. He's a rookie. He never really got all the playing time. Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown really took up a lot of the running rushes and stuff in the beginning of the season, but at the end of the season, I think they finally felt comfortable putting Cam Akers in, and he balled out. Like he did pretty good. So looking at last year, week 1, he actually had a lot of carries. He had 14, but he only had 39 yards. It's horrible. After that, 3, and then he had like none above 10 until week 13. He had 21 carries and 72 yards. Another disappointing game right there. But I don't know. I feel like that's why I said he could be a little bit overrated, a little bit underrated. He had one touchdown that game too. So he had 16 points, but his highest fantasy point game came from this game against New England. 29 carries. This is where they kind of put him as the work house running back. 29 carries, 171 yards. That's average of 5.9. Like his receptions, 2 receptions for 23 yards. Yeah, definitely not a receiving running back from what we've seen too much of the end of the season, but yeah, and it's new. It's a new team. Matthew Stafford is the new QB. I think that Cam Akers is going to have a pop off season, though. I know a lot of people are saying that, but it's just true. He's just a young, explosive running back, and I definitely think if he gets the carries he needs, he can definitely do the scoring he needs. The LA Rams do got a good O line too, but they also have a good passing offense, so you don't know how necessarily it's going to work out. But yeah, he didn't really start at all until the end, but he had 625 rushing yards. But yeah, it's a new QB situation. But let's get into our last running back. So this actually might be my favorite running back on this list, and it's kind of risky, not as risky as the others though. J.K. Dobbins. So he's going into his sophomore year, second year. He's a rookie last year. Uh, Another one. He didn't really get his chance to start till the end of the season, but when he did, I think he even balled up more even than Cam Akers. But he also got a little bit more chance. He had 805 yards last season, 9 touchdowns. Receiving running back. I don't know if you could really see him as a receiving running back. I just don't think the Ravens are really like that because Lamar Jackson likes to take a lot of those rushes. But you look at his stats in Cincinnati last week of the year. He had 13 carries, but he had 160 yards. Yeah, you could say Bengals don't got a good defense. Yeah, true, but that's just crazy. 13 rushes, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. Besides that, though, he's had a lot of other good games too. He hasn't got a game over really 20 carries, but has been putting up good fantasy numbers. And definitely, I think when he gets like the number one spot, he really wasn't clarified the number one starter. Gus Edwards got a lot of playing time last season, but if he does get a lot of carries this season, expect a high upside from him. Probably another one, a breakout running back. I could definitely see him being up there. He's ranked 21, projected 21 on ESPN. That's low. For example, running backs that are higher than him are Myles Gaskin. That's kind of a tough one. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Joe Mixon. I don't know. I feel like J.K. Dobbins is it's a little underrated, and I feel like there's running backs that are getting over projected, overrated. But yeah, J.K. Dobbins. The only problem I have with him is that Gus Edwards is also a pretty good underrated running back, but also Lamar's running talent. Lamar loves to run the ball. We all know that, and you can't blame him though. He's good at running the ball, but I definitely think that J.K. Dobbins deserves more playing time, and when he gets it, he's gonna ball out. He's definitely gonna do good. All right, honorable mention. I did have this running back in my top six. I was going to do six, but then I cut it down to five because he has news about not being able to fully recover from his turf toe injury. So, yeah, that hurts a lot of value from him. They do have J.D. McKissick, and you know that they are definitely confident with playing with him. There's a new QB situation there. You know what I mean? Ryan Fitzmagic's there now. Yeah. But yeah, J.D. McKissick takes up a lot of receptions, receiving yards. So you looked at that last year. Every game, like basically, J.D. McKissick was ranked so high last year just because how many receptions he got. Yeah, but Antonio Gibson's a great runner. He had 795 yards last year and 11 rushing touchdowns. I definitely think he's gonna be that goal line running back for them. Yeah, Fitzmagic just isn't really that. You know what I mean? But he had a great season last year. He was great for how late he was drafted in the draft, third round to the Washington. He was a solid running back, and he became one that you could start in fantasy. But I think that he'll have a little bit more higher of a jump definitely this season too, if he gets more carries and more passes from instead of JD McKissick. But I don't know. Then with the turf toe injury, you know what I mean, you got all summer to recover from that, but it's getting near, and he's rumored that he can't still not recovering from it. Kind of a problem. Also, kind of not a worry about because you know what I mean, these players get a lot of rest, a lot of attention for their injuries. But yeah, that hurts value right there. But that's why I moved them to honorable mention. So if I had to rank these from number one to worst, I would probably say off value, all right? Off value. Chris Carson's the number one. He's fallen really far, ranked 16th running back. You could pick this guy up. He's the number one running back for Seattle, and you could even have him as your second running back on your team. Steal. Second one, I'm going to go with J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is definitely a solid running back. I think he's going to have a huge leap this season. All right, and for the value, he's ranked 21st on ESPN for his projection. It's kind of low for him, I think. So, yeah, I definitely see him jumping higher than that. Third of all, Cam Akers. Cam Akers, I don't know how to say about this. He's a good running back, but for the value, I think he's going to be selected in some leagues first round, some leagues early second, maybe even late second. But, yeah, Cam Akers is going to be taken off the board quick. So, maybe not the best value, but he's definitely a great running back that you guys should try to grab. And next, I will probably say Damien Harris or James Robinson. I'm going to go Damien Harris, all right? Reason for this is if you have a number one running... Actually, yeah, Damien Harris is my bad, but yeah, he's the best value. Ranked 37th running back. You guys are going to be able to get him super late in the draft, definitely, compared to James Robinson. Robinson's still going to be getting drafted sort of in the middle. But yeah, Damien Harris is going to be falling, and the running back market this year is pretty bad. The receiving market is super good. You can draft a good receiver at like the late rounds. So yeah, definitely worry about running backs, and drafting Damien Harris at near the end of the draft, in the middle end of the draft, I'd feel confident with having him as a backup. Definitely, it's not a starter, but yeah, have him as a backup. See how the season goes. He could be the number one running back for New England and become a good fantasy running back. But yeah, those are our 5 running backs for value, and of course, honorable mention, Antonio Gibson. But make sure you guys do drop a like on this video. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be doing more like these, like the must draft running backs for value and stuff like that. We're going to do a receiver one, quarterback one, tight end one, mock drafts, guys to not get, you know what I mean, news videos, tier list videos, all types of good stuff. So make sure you guys do drop a like, subscribe to Young JDR on YouTube, and also subscribe to Young JDR Sports down and below. All right. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your thoughts in the comment, please. I do like to hear you guys' thoughts. I love to talk football. But yeah, make sure you guys drop a comment. Till next time, your boy's out. Peace.